During his inauguration speech on May 29, 2023, President Bola Tinubu declared that fuel subsidy was gone.
Fuel subsidy is gone. Subsidy can no longer justify an ever-increasing cost in the wake of dry resources. We shall instead channel whatever to fund to better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve life for people.
Within 24 hours after that declaration, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Nigerian sole importer of PMS, withdrew subsidy on petrol. This led to a jump in the price of commodity from about 198 naira per litre to over 500 naira per litre, as it later moved to over 600 naira per litre and currently sells for between 620 and 700 naira per litre depending on the area of purchase. Speaking at the third edition of the Ministerial Press Briefing Series in Abuja on Wednesday, where the Coordinating Minister for Health and Social Welfare addressed journalists, Idris stated that subsidy removal had led to the reduction of fuel imports by 50%. On February 18, 2023, about 3 months before PMS subsidy was removed by President Bola Tinubu, the Group Chief Executive Officer NNPCL, Mele Kyari, revealed that Nigeria was consuming about 66 million litres of PMS daily. Kyari also stated that over 400 billion naira was spent monthly to subsidize PMS at that time, stressing that the subsidy was having adverse impacts on the cash flow of the NNPCL. NNPCL is the sole importer of petrol into Nigeria and has continued to play this role for several years running, bearing the huge cost of fuel subsidy. Other private oil marketers stopped importing petrol into Nigeria due to the difficulty encountered in accessing the dollars required for the imports of PMS. Going by the latest position of the Information Minister that petrol importation has dropped by 50%, it implies that the volume of imports into Nigeria has reduced by about 33 million litres daily based on NNPCL's figures in February. This means that PMS importation has dropped by about 990 million litres in 1 month. The revelation by the Information Minister might not be far from the truth because oil marketers have stated several times that the purchase of petrol has reduced drastically. The National President, Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, Bennett Corey, said the consumption of petrol has dropped to the lowest level ever. Filling stations are shutting down because there is no business anymore. Also on Wednesday, the NNPCL and the Organization of the Oil Exporting Countries pledged to work together to achieve the Nigerians' aspirations to attract investments and growth production. The two organizations came to this accord when the Secretary General of OPEC paid a courtesy visit to the Group Chief Executive Officer NNPCL Mele Kyari and the NNPC Towers in Abuja. Speaking at the event, the Secretary stated that OPEC was completely aligned with NNPCL's vision as captured in its payoff line, Energy for Today, Energy for Tomorrow. This, he said, was because of the oil firm's inclusive view of energy as opposed to the view of being pushed in some quarters that some sources of energy were bad. It disclosed that in spite of the pushback on oil and gas, the world would require about $14 trillion investment from now till 2035 to be able to meet global demand and urged NNPCL to do everything to tap into that opportunity to raise its production. In his remark, Kyari said NNPCL was working very hard to recover lost production and provide the right fiscal environment to attract investment. He expressed appreciation to OPEC for its support to Nigeria, adding that NNPCL will continue to support the organization in whatever way it could. Meanwhile, at the briefing series by the Information Minister, which was initiated to provide a platform for public officials to reel out the achievements and appraise Nigerians of the challenges of governance, Idris said Nigeria had begun to reap the benefits of the reform being spearheaded by President Bola Tinubu. He said that the Nigerian gross domestic product grew by 3.46% in the first quarter of 2023 as against 2.54% recorded in the third quarter of 2023. He also said capital importation rose to 66% in the fourth quarter of 2023, reversing a 36% decline in the third quarter. Idris noted that President Tinubu has also given a directive for the design of a social security unemployment program to cater for the unemployed graduates.
Mr. President has committed to doing all that can be done to assist in giving purchasing power to the less well-off, to the poorest. And in that line, he has committed and instructed that the social security unemployment program be devised, particularly to cater for the youth, for the unemployed graduates, as well as the society as a whole. So we have coming in the nearest future an unemployment benefit for the young unemployed in particular.
He said this is in addition to setting up a social consumer credit scheme to boost the purchasing power of Nigerians as they meet adjustments in view of the temporary economic hardship. He said the government rejigs the National Social Investment Program. The direct payment of 25,000 naira to 15 million households will resume immediately. The minister said the government is equally tackling insecurity headlong and more success stories are coming in on daily basis. He said without any doubt, the country will win the war against insecurity. Best Orator reporting for BTV News.